Hey Wilder folks, Alicia here. For this week's video, we are going to talk about how to know if a trail is going to be good for running. I've had a lot of clients reach out to me saying they've seen a hiking trail, but they're not sure if it's going to be a good choice for this week's run. And it's true, not all hiking trails are great running trails. And when you're heading out into the woods, you definitely want to know if the trail you're picking is going to lead to a trail runner's high or feel like it's uphill both ways. So here are 5 stats that you're going to want to look at to see if a trail that you have found on the internet is going to be a good option for trail running. And if it's your first time here, my name's Alicia. I'm a coach with Wilder Fitness. We help people get ready physically for outdoor adventures of all kinds. So here are the top 5 stats you should look at to see if a hiking trail is going to be good for trail running. At the end of this video, I'm also going to recap my absolute favorite trail run of all time. So the first component you want to think about is the type of trail. There's 3 main trail types that we'll talk about today. The first is an out and back trail. Now, an out and back trail is awesome if you want a symmetrical elevation profile, and we're going to talk about elevation profiles in a second. They're also best if you have a very specific amount of time available to you, because they're the easiest to predict how long it's going to take to get back to the start. And they tend to be the simplest to navigate because you are coming back the way you came from. The second type of trail is a looped trail. I love these. They're fun because you never see the same view twice. And they do feel like more of a journey, but beware, they are a little bit more committing, because if for some reason you can't complete the whole trail, you're gonna have to go back the way you came, and that could lead to a longer day out than you anticipated. The third type of trail is a through trail, where you start in one location, you finish in another, and you go basically in a line from start to finish. I love these. They definitely feel the most like a journey. You want to make sure you think ahead about how you're getting from your finish line back to your starting line. And then of course there's combo runs. Maybe a run has partially a loop, but there's an out and back included in it. Once you get creative with the type of trail you're running on a certain day, you can have endless possibilities as to where you're going that day. Our second component is also pretty simple but pretty important, and that is knowing the distance of the trail you're heading out on. Because going out on trails is typically more remote than doing so on streets or roads, you're going to want to make sure that you're confident in the distance that you're traveling that day. And a special note, I had one client who thought a trail was 5 kilometers, but it was actually 5 kilometers one direction, and then she had to turn around and go all the way back. So she ended up doing twice the distance she was expecting to do. So make sure that you know those metrics before you head out. The third component, and maybe the most fun one to geek out on, is the trail steepness. You're going to want to look at 2 things to determine trail steepness. The first is going to be the overall grade of the trail, and the second is to take a look at the elevation profile. Now, the way you calculate grade is you divide the overall elevation gain of a trail, so how much you've gone up over the course of the trail, by the overall distance of that trail, and you want both of those to be in the same unit. That's going to give you a decimal, which you can then convert to a percentage, and just like that, you've got your trail grade. Now, your average grade obviously is going to be representative of the entire trail, so there's going to be portions of the trail that are significantly steeper and significantly less steep than that average. And one trail running secret that not a lot of people know who don't trail run is that most trail runners are hiking steep uphills, even if they are phenomenal trail runners. So don't let steepness of a trail turn you off, and remember, you can walk up the uphills if you're a trail runner. The way to dig deeper into trail steepness is to take a look at your elevation profile. So when we're looking at an elevation profile, we have our elevation gain on one side, and we've got our distance traveled on the other axis. The first thing you're going to want to do is take a look at your scale. So look at the highest point on that graph and the lowest, so you know what you're dealing with, and then take a look at the distance of your trail. I love elevation profiles because I can mimic upcoming trail races with the same elevation profile on a trail run before I do the race. But the elevation profile is also going to tell you when the steepest climbs are going to happen throughout your run. And so that's going to let you know if you need to maybe pace yourself really well at the beginning for a climb at the end, or if you're gonna have a climb at the beginning that might wear you out for later on in the day. Personally, I love really steep uphills. I like getting that elevation over with quickly, and I absolutely adore gradual declines because I find they're extremely fun to run. Our fourth component is your surface type or trail technicity. Now, even though I wish I made up the word trail technicity, it's actually a term that was recently coined through a study that was looking at how much more energy it takes to run on a trail with roots and rocks compared to a treadmill. The higher a trail's technicity, the more difficult it is to run along that trail. It is incredible how much longer it takes to run on a trail that has a lot of rocks and roots or odd-sized stones than it is to run on a trail that is gravel or flat or paved. And knowing the trail surface that you're probably going to see on your trail is going to help you predict your timeline, which is really important for safety and letting people know when you're going to be back. It's also super important to note that if a trail is up on a ridge line, there might not actually be an established trail at all, so you're going to have to really know where you're going before you set out. And the final component is trail conditions. This one can be particularly hard early in the season for us folks who live near the mountains because we always want to know when the snow is going to be off certain trails. If you instead live somewhere really hot and humid, you might instead want to know what months of the year are going to be cool enough that you can have a safe day out. And the best way to get information on trail conditions specific to the time of year you want to run the trail is by asking people. When anyone ever asks me about a particular trail, I love talking to them about when I did it and what I found. And I think you'll find that in most of the running community, people are very open and excited to share their passion with you. A couple hints I'll use if I'm not sure what trail conditions are like right now is I'll use the government websites if I'm running in a provincial or national park. They will often post about trail conditions. Or I'll check alltrails.com and see if anyone has run or hiked that trail recently, and I will either reach out to them, or if their review states what date they did it and then has pictures, I can also check out the pictures. Now, the trails that become your favorites are often going to be based on who you are as a runner, but my absolute favorite route is this trail in Waterton National Park. It starts in Red Rock Canyon, and there is a gradual climb up the snowshoe trail that leads to these two stunning lakes. From there, you do a very steep but short climb up over a col where you get a stunning view down the valley. You then cross into another valley, and it's this perfect, gentle downhill grade that you can run down that canyon all the way back to the starting point. That trail overall has a 3.5% grade, so relatively flat for trail running, and it's about 24 kilometers. But I would absolutely love it if you shared your favorite trail in the comments below. I really don't think there's anything better than hearing someone describe their favorite running trail. Now, this video is part of a multi-video series on how to take your running from the road to the trails. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love it if you drop them in the comments below. And thank you